Hi, Jennifer Duane here with Todd Wall, Managing Partner of Premier Estates International, where we're here to discuss luxury agents utilizing the Premier Estates Worldbid auction platform, particularly in today's market, and how it's going to help agents ultimately close more deals. Todd, thanks so much for being here with me today. Listen, let's get right to it. What do you think the number one benefit is for a luxury agent to utilize the Premier Estates Worldbid auction platform, and how can they actually work together to do more business?
Well, hi, Jennifer, and thanks for the opportunity to speak to you and to your audience. It's my pleasure to be here. So it's a great question, and it's probably one of the first questions an agent asks themselves and asks of us. How do we work with them, and what are the benefits? Well, we look at an agent who has a listing on a property as our distinct partner through the entire process. And that means that they remain the listing agent of record. They are paid the commission that has already been negotiated with their seller. As a matter of fact, they now have literally a 90% chance with us now to represent the buyer, or in layman's terms, to double end the transaction. And through the entire 60-day Worldbid auction platform and global bespoke marketing process, they will be our local partner. And as such, we will do the heavy lifting, marketing, advertising, promotion, and they, being the local experts, will be able to talk with potential buyers, work with us in the open house and broker caravan, and answer questions about the local marketplace, their distinct knowledge about the local marketplace, and the property itself. And they will work with us all the way through close of escrow.
Excellent. Okay. And so sometimes discussing this with agents, they get confused. Are they still actually going to keep it in the MLS?
Great question. Yes, the property remains on the MLS. And in addition to that, there will be public, syndicated, and agent remarks that we will amend for the MLS with our auction language. We'll also provide a very specific auction brochure. There may be a very specific custom video that will be branded by Premier Estates and the agent of the property, possibly use of a Matterport video. And all of our marketing and advertising is co-branded with the listing agent and their brokerage office. So the exposure for the agent is exponential.
So their exposure is actually widened, you would say, overall by utilizing this platform.
Yes, and you have to remember, our buyer pool comes internationally. Depending, of course, on the market and where we're selling the property, there's always going to be a distinct geographic area where maybe the lion's share, the largest percentage of buyers would be expected to come from. And of course, we will market heavily into that geographic area. But generally, our database of clients, whether they're in the Middle East, whether they're in Russia, whether in the Asian markets, it is truly amazing the word of mouth that our global bespoke marketing platform creates for the seller, for the property, and for the agent. Yes.
Well, so that's really fascinating. So, I mean, in saying all of that, it sounds so exciting. It seems like such a no-brainer. So help me to better understand. I mean, how does the financing actually change insofar as the agent's commission and who's being paid what? How would you simply explain that process?
So another good question, and a very common question from an agent. As I said, the agent has already the preset compensation agreed to by the seller. That remains in place, and the seller pays that compensation.
Okay, so the seller pays.
Correct. Premier Estates is compensated what's used in the, or is compensated technically by the buyer, or what's in the auction parlance, a buyer's premium. A buyer's premium is a percentage that is added to the final bid or offering price. So it's the offering bid price plus the buyer's premium, which equals the total contract price. That total contract price, Jennifer, is the price that is paid into escrow by the buyer and or in conjunction with their lender. And escrow and or if it's a non-escrow state, as we call it, if it's a lawyer state, the parties will then distribute the buyer's premium to Premier Estates, the commission to the listing agent, and the commission to the buyer's agent. And it, as I said, it is recorded, and it is the title company picks up the total price inclusive of the buyer's premium. So it's really very simple. The seller has no auction costs, none, zero. There's no marketing costs. There's no commissions paid to Premier Estates. All they pay is the normal closing transfer costs as they would in a with the listing agent in their transaction. Nothing changes in that regard. Nothing.
That's fascinating. I mean, it just sounds like a very compelling offer. So, you know, I've often heard agents, when suggesting this as a tool to help them get the results that they promise to their seller, I've heard some agents say, well, I'm a luxury broker for my area already. What am I going to tell my seller about why I haven't been able to get this done? Yeah, it's been on the market 250 days, 250 plus days, but why do I tell them that I need you?
Another good question. Thank you. You know, our Worldbid auction platform, if, you know, historically we found that the property owners that are sophisticated business people, ones that are highly successful, and they understand the power of marketing, then they really understand our Worldbid auction platform. And as such, whether it's in an upwardly moving market or now that we're in a downwardly moving market and rapidly, our Worldbid auction platform performs on both sides of the economic fence, as I call it. Having said that, now that we are in a downwardly moving market, we know interest rates are going to be moving up at least two more times with the rate itself, possibly 50 to 75 basis points, and another 50 to 75 basis points in December, January. It's clear that the values of properties are now descending, and descending quickly, and that showings are by showings for the properties we are seeing across the country to diminish substantially. Well, it's a perfect time to consider the use of our Worldbid auction platform and our global bespoke marketing. Why? Because we get in front of the market. We aren't behind it. We are in front of it. And what I mean by that is we essentially create that urgency, that opportunity, that value that the market wants to see, that buyers agents want to see. And they're drawn to our Worldbid auctions literally immediately. The interest rate from a listing, when it moves to our Worldbid auction platform, generally the percentage of interest goes up 400 to 500% in a matter of nearly a week. So the urgency we create, the bidding frenzy that our Worldbid auction platform finds for for the buyers and ultimately for the seller is one that an agent cannot duplicate on their own. And the value we bring to the agent is that urgency, and that they'll know the property sold in 60 days or sooner, sometimes far less than that. So it's a tremendous, tremendous tool. And once the agent knows how to use what we do, they'll see the benefit of being able to convert existing listings to our Worldbid auction platform, but also search out new properties that would be a potential auction candidate that they had never considered before. Whether it's their price point that they worked in was 1 to 2, 3 million. Now this is a 5 to 6 or $8 million home, or if it's an agent who works in the 4, 5, $6 million range, and now they have a $15 million potential sale. It works the same across the board. So great question, Jennifer.
So it sounds like you feel like the Premier Estates Worldbid auction platform really helps to expand their overall cachet. I mean, wouldn't that be a good way to say it? I mean, it just broadens their opportunity as a result of the leverage that you use, which is kind of helps lead me to my next question. You talk a lot about how you're distinctive in comparison to really anybody else out there because of the Worldbid platform, and because you do have a global bespoke marketing plan that you curate according to that particular property. Could you share with me maybe an example of a property that that you did something that you curated specifically for that property that brought you really powerful and exciting results to help kind of draw the picture for our viewers?
Well, I'll give you a quick example. I mean, we have literally hundreds to pick from, but and I will say on our website there are testimonials from sellers, from agents, historic properties that we've sold, no matter where they are, in the United States or outside of the United States. There's a complete library of information on our website. But there was a property that an agent had that comes to mind. Actually, when I say historic, I truly mean historic. They were the listing agent on a oceanfront, cliffside, early 1900s Laguna Beach estate. Laguna Beach is in Orange County, California, just south of Newport Beach. The home was built in the approximately 1912, 1915 by the gentleman who founded and built the historic Riverside Mission Inn Hotel, which is located in Riverside, California. And he built one of the first homes on the cliffs in Laguna Beach. And this property had been listed with an agent, and they were getting literally no traction. The home was part of the, I believe what's called the Mills Act. So it was a historical designated property. And as such, the owner was not allowed to change or deface the exterior of the home in any real way other than, I believe, painting and repairs. And because of that, they received a very low tax-based benefit. The result was the agent brought us in, we partnered with that agent, and in a period of about, I think it was 60 days was our global marketing campaign. We brought the agent into our, as I said before, into our marketing process. We staged a spectacular brokers open and public showing event with an architect who was on the board of the Laguna Beach Architectural Foundation to speak about the property, the person who built it. We had live music, great food, and it was a a sundown sunset evening event.
I'm
Uh,
in.
it was spectacular, and the end result was we found a buyer who had just sold their company for, if I remember, 200 or 300 million dollars, and they saw this property and they go, "Oh my God, we wouldn't change a thing." And important to understand, because it was a historical property, it really did have, um, you know, design qualities of 1910 or 20. And we found that right buyer, and that right buyer uh, not only purchased the property, paid more than the starting bid by, I think it was $4 million. A historical sale in Laguna Beach, and for the seller and for the agent. So it was a success all around. So
Oh,
that's
just,
one that comes to mind. Yes.
yeah, epic memory. I wish I could have been there for that party for sure. Well, so just one last question. I know we're taking up a lot of your time, but a question that I often hear is, are there any, disclosures required that are different, or do the sellers typically have an inspection in advance? I mean, since it's kind of a little bit more of an accelerated sale and they have to make a decision on a high valued property rather quickly, or the pace is a little bit quicker, how does that change the game insofar as disclosures or inspection and those
Understood.
kinds of details? Okay.
So I'll answer it this way. Every state has their own set of requirements regarding disclosures for a property. Those requirements do not change. So whatever disclosures the agent is required to provide, whatever disclosures that the seller is required to provide, they must provide them. There are caveats to that. If there's certain type of state and federal court settings that limit disclosures, or trustee sale requirements that limit disclosures, of which we are experts at, and know those rules and requirements, from 1 to 10. So the answer is, it is required to provide. But I always say to an agent and to a seller, look, you want to provide information that makes the buyer as comfortable as they can with the purchase of the property. So to answer your question, yes, we do suggest a home inspection report be provided by the seller if they're willing to do so. And that just gives more comfort for the buyer. A buyer may engage a home inspection company on their own. That is their option. We encourage it. But from a transactional standpoint, it is definitely a good idea to do so.
Yeah.
Other than that, the paperwork side of the transaction is all very simple, and we walk the seller and the agent through what needs to be done from, again, the beginning to close of escrow. So very, very simple. And I know that was your last question, and I want to thank the audience for participating. And any questions that you have, feel free to reach out to us at premierestates.com. Our website is a plethora of information, and send emails directly into info@premierestates.com, and we'll happy to answer any questions you have, and our team is ready, willing, and able to do so. Thank you, Jennifer, again for the opportunity to speak today, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in the near future.
You bet. Thank you. It's such an exciting process, and there's so much to learn. So thank you for your time today as well. Anybody who's interested can just reach out, as Todd said. The details are below, and thank you so much for your time today. All right. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.